We all the way live. We're on here right now.
Oh, let's go.
Yeah.
Welcome everybody to the 6th episode of Can We Even Talk About That? Starring Lisa, Ebony, and myself, ALife a lot. We thank you once again for, taking a little bit of your time to come check us out.
Yes.
We still doing the learning curve thing, so thank you for just being patient with us as we learn ins and outs of this whole thing. And also just the challenges of doing a podcast during these trying times.
That's what it is too. That's real.
And we are going to dive a little bit in today on some issues and stuff surrounding around mental health, mental wellness, mental hygiene, if you will. All that kind of stuff. That's just as important as your physical health, yet which doesn't kind of get the same kind of light shined on it as does physical health.
Right.
And the subject of mental health literally could be just an ongoing, topic. So we're just literally going to just be touching literally the tip of the iceberg today,
there's no way we could, go as deep as we would like to, but with everything going on, we can touch on some of the hot spots today.
Right.
Yeah.
And for me, the thing that kind of brought me to that point of let's talk about that was the homegirl Naomi Osaka.
Crazy. Yeah. I should not have said crazy. That was literally the worst thing to say at a time like this. Right? I'll be taking accountability for that, folks. Sorry. But what is happening with the way she is being treated and what she has had to do to take care of herself is wrong.
Right.
Not cool. Yes.
Right. And it's all wrapped up in so many things because it's not just the fact that she so lay the groundwork. Naomi Osaka is a black woman tennis player. She's of Haitian and Japanese descent. She's literally the next one who looks like she's going to take the throne of the Williams sisters.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying?
She's incredible
with their blessing. They aren't letting the media pit them against her. They're literally she's literally supporting her in a great way, which I love.
Right.
But so we're talking. I'm not really a tennis follower, so I forget the names of all the particular gatherings, whatever. But this French Open, basically Naomi Osaka basically just said I don't feel comfortable doing these interviews. I'm not gonna do them.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? And she said it's funny because some of the response that I saw online right away from some journalists was that's not professional. She needs to get in there, and the journalists are there you talk to the journalists for the people. And I was just one, she's not your property. You're literally talking about her you own her. And it's funny because a lot of people, this is how people who are fanatics about particular sports, this is how they talk about a lot of players a lot of times.
It's true.
And it's related to the same way that we're doing with the basketball league, where someone just recently threw something at one of the players on the floor, insults
and then
stuff.
Spit on,
they're treating them like they really feel about them, like they're only there for
to entertain them.
To entertain them, and it's related all the way back to slavery and things like that kind of ownership.
Right.
But she basically said with the French Open, she's not doing it. And the thing is that people have to realize also that journalists nowadays, across the board, a lot of them are not up to par.
Agreed.
They're asking some questions that they shouldn't be asking.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying?
Right.
They're talking about, so like when she made that decision, they wanted to penalize her right away, 50,000 penalty.
And she was like, okay.
Right.
Leave me alone.
Fucked up because one, she's a black woman who got money, so she's just like, okay, I'm out of here.
Leave me alone.
And and it's crazy because they literally got together with other heads of the tennis league in different places to make this decision. Right. And so it's not just a decision against her in terms of mental health. I'm a firm believer that it's also because she's a black woman.
Yeah.
We see the way
firm believer. Right. Yeah.
You see the way that the tennis world has treated, the Williams sisters many times. Was
it Serena? Serena is the one that just had I just don't follow tennis. I'm terrible at this.
Right.
But I remember the one that has a child, which I'm fairly certain is Serena. It is Serena. She had her baby, and when she came back, didn't she have like a special suit that they had made for her to help her avoid like blood clots or any of right? And they refused to they fined her for trying to wear it. I was like, why, dude? Why? Because it's ridiculous. It's too much.
If you also remember, they also fined her for when she had her hair in beads.
Oh, right. It was a distraction. Because she has hair, right? I remember that.
She has black hair. That's the problem.
She has black hair. Yeah,
she has black hair. Yeah. And once again, I said that we weren't going to talk about it because it just feels as though it would be like a short conversation. But literally just loop back on it. You know what I'm saying? Like
we're meant to go there. Just let it happen.
Black hair is not to be politicized. And so bonnets. Let women fucking wear the fucking bonnets.
Can we just
get a fucking life? You get a fucking life.
White people and white hair is not the standard. Black people have their own hair and their own standard, and wearing bonnets is part of that. We don't ever tell white women who just like throw on yoga pants and a tank top and like put their hair in a baseball cap or whatever, like, it's unprofessional. Well, you look like you don't even care when you leave the house. Why don't you respect yourself? People aren't going to respect you. It's just like, I mean, people are going to look at you and just be like, oh, casual wear day, whatever. Or they're not going to look at you at all because they're super busy focusing on their own lives. Those are my favorite people. But for Black women, it's like bonnets are a part of their hair care. It's a part of what they do. Just like dreadlocks, just like Afro puffs, just like box braids. Like they're not just, I mean, just because people with a particular hair texture have figured out how to take care of their hair and put it in protective styles that are also stylish, doesn't mean anything other than that's how they wear their hair. Nobody's under any obligation. Look, if you want to straighten your hair, if you want, all those things are your choice. If you don't want to and you want to take care of your natural hair, then you should be allowed to do that without being judged, especially by other Black people who also need to be putting their hair in bonnets. White people just need to not say anything other than, I don't know why she's wearing a bonnet. She's wearing a bonnet. Moving on about my day. Black people just need to learn to mind their own business. If you want to wear a bonnet out in public, you go right ahead. And if you don't, then don't. Don't ever do it a day in your life, and don't worry about what other people are doing.
Right.
Shit. It's insane.
It's insane also because, like, I'm about to lose my charge. Hold on a second.
Yeah, no, you're good.
It's also, back into that realm in terms of just like, I lost my thought, but it'll come back to me. But the thing is, like I said, just let them live, yo. Let them live. You know what I'm saying?
Because not everything's a style for you. I mean,
right.
Do-rags. Did you see that advertisement for do-rags they had a couple like months ago where they were like,
oh God, no.
Fancy silk scarves or something? They renamed it and had a bunch of white ladies wearing it. It's like, bitch, that's a do-rag. Like, what are you talking about? Stop doing this.
Right. It's not doing anything to your hair either,
No.
But yeah, so Naomi, once again, she's at that intersection of being black, being a woman, and being a woman in a predominantly white sport.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying? So like, I would say like the two whitest sports right now are golf and tennis.
Definitely.
You throw hockey in there too.
Yeah.
But
I forget hockey's a sport.
Yeah, I do too. But with tennis is unique because this is a place that, it see that Black women now are, rocking Black excellence, so they can't have that shit.
Oh, and dominating.
Yeah, they're just like mopping people,
Right.
But the great thing is, like I said, back to her making that decision that she is going to prioritize her mental health. And she's fortunate enough to be in that position where she can just say, fuck you. You know what I'm saying? And
that's the problem.
Like I guarantee you the fact that she just ate the fine and then she withdrew from the Open, it's
a lot of money she just lost.
It's a lot of money that she just lost, and they expected her to submit to them.
Yes.
Oh yeah. And the funny thing about it also is I forget the next other tennis star. It's a white woman, but she just withdrew also. But she withdrew because she like hurt her ankle or something.
You know what I'm saying? I thought it was like a support thing. I got so excited.
Oh, come on. Yeah, like, no, that's not happening. That's not happening.
All right, what I'm saying?
Bad, guys. We already know how that goes. It's already passed. It's already past the season for BLM allyship.
There's no allies anymore.
That shut ended like what, March for like 3 months into the summer, whatever.
Yeah.
And then like white people started taking BLM out of their bios. Should have been in there anyway, but that's another story. But
next episode.
The great thing in terms of it, and this also relates back to where we are in these trying times now, in terms that a lot of these politicians are like, we need people to get back to work because we need economics to keep going. But they're saying things, but not realizing why things are. Well, they do realize why things are. They just think
don't care.
They don't care. They think they can force people to work shit jobs.
Yeah.
And basically,
they used to be able to.
Right. But this hiatus has really gave time for people to think. And a lot of people are just like, I know I'm struggling right now, but I'm not going to go back to a place that's going to make me feel like shit.
Yeah.
And so like a lot of people are dealing with these mental health issues now by prioritizing their mental health and realizing like these jobs do not sustain that. And instead of these jobs realizing that and accommodating that, they're just like, oh, people are lazy. No, people don't want to work for
the government wants to pay people to stay home. No.
Listen.
I want a job bad right now. I keep thinking about like going out and getting just a little part-time something because it would be nice to get back out into the world like that again. But also it's like, man, the struggle and like how, it's too much.
No, it's too much. And people have made this decision now. And it's funny because a lot of people who are clamoring for people to go back to work are people in well-off situations.
And these governors,
these governors and senators, they don't want people back to work. They want people to service them again. You know what I'm saying?
Yes. Yeah.
If you want people back to work, all you have to do is make these jobs livable for people.
It's true.
On so many different levels. But that's not what they're gearing for. They're just like, okay, we're going to take away the $300 stimulus. So they're automatically going on attack mode. People's mental health, like they realize it now. They're just like, like literally, this is also a period where people are looking at their own mortality. And it's like, like people are dying through this epidemic and everything. And it's like, if I go today, like I don't want to go fucking working at a job that I don't even like.
Yes. Yeah.
So shout out to them.
Not having time for things. Yeah, no, I feel like part of the problem is because on the one hand, look, mental health is, there's layers to it, but on some level, society has to care about what's happening and create safe spaces for people. When you are unable to function under certain circumstances, right? Under certain circumstances, it is 100% your responsibility to own that and handle it. You need to remove yourself. You need to involve yourself. Whatever it is that you need to do, your mental health is your responsibility, and you need to be able to handle it. But when everything is stacked against you to make it impossible for that to happen, what do? Right? We cannot ask the world to accommodate every person. It is your job to know yourself and get the help from the people that are meant to, right, that are educated and know how to help you. That's what we have those people for. But in the world, if we don't create a situation where people can say, like, I am having a mental health crisis and I need to remove myself from this without it affecting their livelihood, without it affecting their relationships, without it affecting everything, what do they do? What do they do?
Right. You know? We break down.
Yeah, because you have to be able to step back if that's what's going on. It really, and who doesn't have some sort of mental health issue, even if you're going through a very difficult phase, right? Like even if there's just been a death in your family and you know that you will not, well, you don't know, but it's not likely that this is something that will spiral you into a deep depression for the rest of your life. But that does not change that for a while you're fucked. What do you do? How do you go back to work when you've buried a child, when you've buried a parent, when you've buried a best friend, like, right? And our society and our culture really expects you to shake these things off and like, or maybe 2 weeks off or some shit. And it's like, which is whatever, but for people not to be able to have the option to be like, look, I need to step back from this and like really heal from what has happened to me without everybody being like, okay, well, you lost your job and like, you know, you never return calls, we're not friends anymore, or you can't pay any of your bills, or you know what I mean? That's a problem. It's not fair.
It definitely is. I was fortunate when my mother passed in 2001. I worked at Barnes and Noble, and
like that.
I took off for her funeral and the wake. And actually my boss and a couple of the managers actually showed up to her wake. They didn't know my mother from Adam. You know what I'm saying? They just knew. I
love that.
And when they was like, you can come back when you're ready to come back. And I came back. I remember there was one day, the first day I came back, I had an anxiety attack. I'd never had it before. I didn't know what was going on. I was like, I don't know what's happening. You know, my heart is beating. I can't breathe. Like, yo, just go. You know, when my father passed in 2013, the same thing with my job. They basically were like, yo, you know, take whatever you need. And there were times that I would come in and I would have to leave. But then that's just one step, right? Because now you need to address the mental health issues. And a lot of us just aren't educated, you know, in terms of, you know, resources or have access to those resources to even process when you're in a mental health crisis. And I think where we are right now with COVID and the quarantine and stuff, we're seeing this now at next levels. Like people who never ever dealt with mental health issues are dealing with mental health issues now.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? And we're realizing how interconnected a lot of things are. Like, for instance, I told people that I didn't realize that a lot of my socializing was embedded in my job.
Right. Ooh, right. That's
a
fair point. Yeah. So those are the people you see every day. That's who you interact with regularly. Right.
If you're working a full-time job, you're seeing 9 times out of 10, you're seeing those people interacting with them more than you even seeing the people in your house.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Yeah. And then you're removed from that, right? You're removed from that. So, you know, not having that, and with COVID and stuff, like, that was a lot of people socializing thing. That's removed now. So you're isolated right now. So like things, the two heavy things that I know that a lot of people are dealing with in terms of mental health issues due to COVID is anxiety.
Right.
Because, you know, you're locked up, you can't go nowhere. You know what I'm saying? And depression because you're locked up and you can't go nowhere. You know what I'm saying? But, you know, like you said, like, we have to create these safe spaces. And especially with the climate right now, you know, Black people are realizing we need to create safe spaces for us to discuss certain things. Like, we need safe spaces to discuss Black psychology, Black mental health issues, Black
very different
trauma.
Right.
And certain things, when you discuss certain things, you want it to be a safe space so certain people, you know, are just allowed. It's the same way that if there's a women's group discussing, you know, let's say sexual assault, I'm not coming. I'm not saying like, why can't I come? Oh,
even if you have been, and I'm not saying that you are, but I'm saying even a man who has been a victim of sexual assault, because many men have, right? That still doesn't mean that, you know, women who have been brutalized and raped by men, in every instance that I've ever heard of, are not comfortable being vulnerable and expressing their feelings and trying to work through their experience with men in the room. It's not to say that you weren't also a victim and that you don't also have things to work out, but there are men's groups for the men who have suffered things of that nature to work through, right? It's like, it really is that simple. That's my favorite comparison to make, because everybody seems to understand when you bring up rape and women being victims, right? White women, but women in general, but right, it's like we are so accustomed and comfortable to, you know, viewing women as victims and needing help and support and that we don't argue with them. I don't think that I've ever in my life heard someone have the audacity to say, well, men should be allowed to go too. I can't think of a time in my life I've ever heard that. And I've survived sexual assault. I've been involved in several groups like that were always, and I just can't ever remember that being a thing. And it's like, it's the same thing. Trauma is specific to certain people and things. And white people may have experienced prejudice, and maybe they need to go sit with other white people and talk about how awful it is when, you know, someone of color doesn't want to be their friend or whatever it is they suffer. But racism and like just the genetic imprint that it has on Native people, indigenous people, Black people, like, do you know what I mean? Like, you don't have that.
Yep.
You don't, and it requires a separate space. And just something as simple as this, like being able to talk about how frustrating it is not to be able to put on a fucking bonnet and go in public without the world being like, meh, 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 meh. Do you know what I mean? It's like white people don't experience that. You don't know that. Create safe spaces for first of all, just create safe spaces for Black people and Black women, period. Because what's happening to fucking all the ladies are just trying to wear bonnets because they don't feel the need to impress you when they're going grocery shopping or catching a flight. Hello, you know, and Black women needing to protect their mental health and step away from work. Like, just create safe spaces for Black women.
Right. And in these Black spaces, are safe spaces can become healing spaces, right? So when we create these spaces, we also, you know, inundate these spaces with the resources that we need. Because we know that within our community that we have those people who are the reference points for different types of healing, for different types of trauma. We know we have the healers there. You know what I'm saying? Right. And so it's just a matter of networking and bringing them into these new spaces. But it's important, especially where we are right now.
Right.
To have these spaces, because the reality is that historically, every time Black people have tried to create safe spaces, white people have tried to destroy them. Every single time, no matter how you want to talk about it.
And like the hundreds of others.
Right. You know, it's the same thing. It's like, why can't I? That's usually the whole thing. It's like, why can't I X, Y, and Z? Why can't I do X, Y, and Z? It's like, yo, you guys have all that shit. Take your shit and do your shit. Leave me the fuck alone. You know what I'm saying?
Over here. Yeah.
You know,
absolutely.
And it's important also because in these safe spaces, especially centered around Black men and Black women, you know, we can then start to have this kind of discourse that needs to happen that you can't kind of do outside of those safe spaces, because what happens is that you end up with different cheerleaders, I should say. Different people supporting certain things. Because it benefits their agenda.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Right. Kind of like picking and choosing.
Exactly.
What they feel is necessary for you.
Right. And also pitting people against each other.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Lots of that.
like if I'm having a discussion in a safe space with Black people, you know, white people don't get to chime in on that. You don't get to chime in terms of what's right and what's wrong. Even if that Black person is wrong, you don't get to say shit, because this is a Black safe space and this is the discussion that's happening between these people, you know. And I want to reiterate that safe spaces for Black people are healing spaces, which is why they're necessary. You know what I'm saying? And so like when we deal with mental health issues, this is why it's imperative to have these spaces. Just as so much as it's important to have good physical health, to have a doctor, to have people could tell you these things, to have checkups. We need to have we have check-ins with each other. I mean, we do it a lot. You know what I'm saying? It's just like, what's going on?
How is your head today?
Right. Yeah. All those little things, you know what I'm saying? Like those check-ins are important.
They matter.
Because, they're like the navigation system for us. The way you check in on, your location on, Facebook or IG. It's the same with check-ins on mental health. It's like, where are you? Just to be a listening ear, to be active listening, for people who don't know that discipline. The reality is that most people don't actively listen. All they're doing is waiting for the pause to react in terms of to say what they've already been practicing in their head.
Right. Active
listening means like you don't even think about what you're about to say next. You actually are listening and being present
and responding, right?
To what that person is saying, and that's a learned skill.
It is. No, it's true.
But this is where we are right now. Like I said, once again, Naomi, and not just Naomi. Like a lot of Black people now are just like, especially in the entertainment
Dave Chappelle
industry.
Went to Africa.
Right. He's like,
everybody thought he was crazy and they were like, what is going on? He just walked away from a deal. And it's just like, look, I think you would be surprised. I think all of us would be surprised how many people, Black, white, or other, anything, right, would absolutely be like, done doing this. I'm walking away. I need a break. If they had the money and the security to do it. Mm-hmm. That's it. All of us at some point, do you know what I mean, would be like, check it out, even if it's just for a week, to be like, whoo, I got some bad news, or I just don't feel good, or I got the flu. You know what I mean? Like, I'm going to safely remove myself and it's not going to impact and derail my life. Lots of people would do it. And I think lots of people would skip this country too. If that financially were an option to them, because so much of what people suffer is environmental.
Yep.
And like what is close and local to them. I mean, it's part of like with addicts, it's like when we put an addict in rehab, we remove them. They're not in rehab in the same town where all of the people they get fucked up with are. We put them in a different environment, give them something different.
Right.
And maybe they can go back, maybe they can't. But the point is, they have the option, and even addicts don't get to do it, right? Like, even if you're suffering an addiction that could literally kill you and is destroying you and your family, you still can't just step back and be like, yo, I have a problem and I need to go get help before this ruins everything. So I'll be back when I'm ready to work and I'm ready to get back to life, and have people be like, yeah, we'll be here waiting for you. But that's what they have to do. We have to remove them, get them out of that environment so they have time to take care of themselves and see things more clearly and figure out different ways to go back or to do something different. We do not have that for people on any level unless you're loaded, unless you have the fucking money to be like, I'm just gonna check out. And so you're right. Like, part of what has happened with COVID is people have had the money to do it.
Right.
Government was just like, here is a stimulus check since you can't work. And people were like, I don't have to worry about how my bills are going to get paid. So now that I don't have to worry about paying rent this month, I get to worry about what I'm doing and how I feel and where I'm at in my life. Like, it opens up an entire chest full of things. You know what I mean?
Yes.
Because I know so much of my energy all the time, especially through being homeless and having all these kids. Like, I have a savings now. Like, I am as secure as I've been in years. I still come the first of every fucking month, check my bank account with like anxiety. Like, am I going to make it this month? Like, are we okay? Right. And we are every month. Like, it's a different situation for me, but it's triggering to even think about having to pay bills, because that feeling had been so embedded in me basically my whole adult working life. My whole life has always been like regular minimum wage jobs where I just got to figure out how to do it. So much of us are caught in that pattern that it's like, you're so accustomed to worrying about how you're going to survive. You don't have time to worry about how you feel or what you need or what's healthy for you, you know?
And that is actually part of the operating mechanism of capitalism, and also
that's the point
of racism, right? Is to keep you off center enough so that all you do is able to work as a cog in this machine for them.
Yes.
Right.
Yes.
So that it's by design, you know what I'm saying? And this is the other thing that I feel that, a lot of people, because we've just been so inundated in this environment. It's hard for us to envision something different. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Like just like you said, like, yo, the stimulus check and all these places that are trying universal basic income, you know, it's crazy because I think I mentioned this last time, is that a lot of people like would say like, oh, you give people this money, they don't want to work. But it actually, in the places where they did this test for the universal basic income, it actually caused people to go out and get more jobs. Why? Because your base is taken care of. Like, if you don't have to worry about food, clothing, and shelter, that is like a huge percentage of people's trauma and worry. You know what I'm saying? Like, if you have to worry about every month if you're going to be on the street, I can't do anything else in my head. I can't write poetry. I can't create great things. I can't even solve the problems of society. You know what I'm saying? But when you're away from that and you have the space to do that, now things are opened up now. And the thing also is that people really, really are caught up in the narrative that they've been given. Like, there is literally, structurally, there's literally, in terms of source and resources, nothing that America doesn't have right now that there's no reason why they couldn't provide a universal basic income. We have enough money. All right, that's not the one. It's bananas. We have enough money.
It's bananas.
You know what I'm saying? We have enough money. You know, it's the distribution of how things are.
Right.
That's just all it is. It's concentrated with a few, but the reality is that as much, even with the money that's with the mass of people, is that their taxes are going, to all these other things. But if we redistribute that, we wouldn't have some of these issues. Like, there literally is no reason why anyone should not have a roof over their head in this country. When I drive by freaking blocks of empty buildings, old buildings, new buildings that are empty, being kept empty on purpose.
And then you see all the tents on the side of the freeways because people are homeless and have nowhere else to post up. Nonsense.
Right. That's just stupid. So, like, the argument isn't like whether we can or not, because we can. The real issue is like, why don't we? You know what I'm saying?
Why don't we?
And so that's where we are right now. So, like, when people got thrown out of the matrix basically by this COVID,
I love that.
when he first wakes up, he's like, that's how a lot of people
normal life. Like,
right. So now we gotta deal with different ways to process trauma and mental health.
Right. And it's such an important nuance too, to really remember that it's like the reason that people don't want to go to work instead of stay home is it's not because they don't want to work. It's because they don't want to be unappreciated and they don't want to run themselves ragged for nothing more than survival. When survival, because that's the main point of the study that you were talking about. It's like when people they want to do something with their time. What will make me feel fulfilled? I don't have to sit here stressing out. So it's like people resent their job so much. They resent the 40-hour work week so much because they're busting their ass. And listen, they're busting their ass 40 hours a week, whether they're working at your fast food place that you go through or they're working at the elementary school or do you know what I mean? It's like a job is a job. They're all stressful. And if you're doing it just to survive, and still barely making it, fuck that job. Fuck that job and fuck everybody do you know what I mean? It's just like, why would you do it? If you're settled and then it gives you the opportunity to be, do you remember that? I probably shouldn't bring that one up. American Beauty with Kevin Spacey. Look, no disrespect. I'm not trying, but when I saw the movie, the part where he goes and he gets the job at the fast food place, because just like, man, I want to work. I want to do something. Do you know what I mean? But I don't want the stress of a high-powered job. He could do that. He could be like, I'm just going to get a job at a fast food place for fun because his bills were paid. His life was established. It was okay. People will work. People will do things as long as they're not expected to do it just to be considered, human enough to have a place to live. It's bullshit.
Right. Human enough to have a place to live. Human enough to have healthcare.
Decent food, healthcare, access to resources. Yeah.
Right. Those are basic things from, like, if United States, America, quote unquote, is a quote unquote first world country, so technologically advanced and everything, like, all that shit should be no thing. Handle that shit. You know, we're still in such the low rankings in terms of, you know, infant mortality and basic shit.
Dude.
You know, basic shit. You know what I'm saying?
True.
So, you know, when you have all these people, like you said, that don't want to opt back into the system, you know, it's understandable. But, you know, the next level is where we are right now. It's like, okay, what does the alternative system look like?
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Right.
And so, especially with things with mental health, you know, we know now, like, I've been talking with people about mental health, in terms of Black people, you know, more so than I've ever talked so in my life. Right. One, because I'm recognizing my own particular issues, but then also in terms of just like, okay, realizing that a lot of people are going through similar shit.
Yeah.
You know, so it's like, okay, now what's the next level for us? Okay, there's big groups, you know, these safe spaces where we talk and everything. But then the next level, of course, is like that high professional level to get people in touch with, you know, therapists who, you know, are from their background, who can understand you. Because there's no way I want to go talking to a white male about any of my issues. It just really is. That's just,
he's not going to get it.
Happen. Yeah. And
I will not have a frame of reference. You could be the kindest, most understanding white man in the world that really has nothing but the best intentions. He's never experienced. He was not raised by people who experience it. It was not a part of his life and his culture and his identity. Right. It's just, there's no point. It's not helpful. It's not helpful.
Right. And then also the other thing is that, like you said, it's not helpful, and they really they also are not trained to address any of it. It's the same way that when I looked at one of it wasn't your thread, it was another, I forgot whose thread it was, but they were mentioning about hair, you know, that their child, you know, was biracial, and they took him to a hair salon.
Oh, right. That was our thread. I remember this. Okay. Right. And they were like, we can't do your kid's hair.
Right. And it's like, then why are you a hairdresser?
Because what are you doing in a salon?
Right. Because that should be, because honestly, if you could only do the hair.
For breakfast.
Right. If you could only do the hair of one type of people, then you should have passed. You know what I'm saying?
Oh, I went to beauty school out here when I was 19. They don't even teach.
I know they don't. I know they don't.
Like I remember just sitting there like, cool. Like, watch me never ever use any of this. I got kicked out of that school because I wouldn't wear makeup to class every day, and they were like, if you're going to work in the beauty profession, you need to, you know, maintain standard. I'm like, work here? What? I literally, when I had haircuts, I had to cut mullets. There was an entire week on how to like properly trim.
Are you kidding me?
No, I'm not fucking kidding you. I'm not fucking kidding you. And when people would come in for their haircuts, we would mullets. But not a thing about curly hair, ethnic hair. I was still on my own with, do you know what I mean? Nonsense.
That's hilarious.
So they don't have it out here for sure.
Right. So that's the same thing in terms of like these therapists and everything. They just, if you're utilizing the white, you know, basically cis hetero white males as the standard. That's
right. Exactly.
You know, then
your advice can be damaging even.
Right.
Very
because you honestly believe that that's the standard. You don't even see it as
it's been
different.
The standard for you. It's like, just don't wear your bonnet in public anymore. And that's really easy. And it's like, okay, but you don't understand the significance of the bonnet, white man. So now you're not helping me. You're making me feel worse.
Right.
Yeah. It's one of those.
I'll be damned if I'm talking about some issues of fucking Black trauma and racism to a white man.
No, you always end up explaining it and always.
And I'm not, and first of all, just to be, you know, keep it a buck, you know, I'm a Black male, right? So like I'm already have been socialized not to open up, right?
Fair, yeah.
You know, so me opening up to what? No, you don't get to get in that space.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? And it's important for us, like I said, that safe space is also your safe space. So it's important for you to guard that. And like you said, they don't have the tools. So why even go to them? You know what I'm saying? It's the same thing with the hair thing. They don't have the tools, so why are you giving them your business? You know, the fact of the matter is, they should, if you call yourself a hairdresser, you should know how to fucking do hair. You know what I'm saying? In the same way with psychologists. If you're a psychologist, you should have more cross-cultural type of training, but they don't. You know, so
they know how to do fake dreads out here. There's several salons you can go to where white girls will give you dreadlocks. Yeah, dude. I remember there's one woman, she's from Puerto Rico, and her name was Mira, I believe. I met her like when I was like 23 years old because I wanted help with my hair. And I called one of the salons to ask if they had anyone who could do ethnic hair. And she's like, no, but I know this lady, call her. And it was just like this lady, and she was from Puerto Rico. And I called her and I was like, so I'm working on my dreads and I would like some help, like somebody, you know, who actually knows dreads to help me twist them. Swear to God. She was like, are you a white girl?
See?
And I was like, no, I'm mixed. Like I'm half black, half white. I'm not.
Mm-hmm.
And she goes, oh, okay. Yeah, I can help you. Come see. She was just like, I am not doing dreadlocks on any white girls. No, first question she asked me, she's like, are you a white girl? I was like,
see?
And when I met her, she even straight up said, she was like, the texture of their hair is not made. Like if you have curly, thicker hair, maybe that's one thing, but it's like, that's why they have to go to salons to have dreadlocks literally like implanted in their head, because it's like it's not a natural style for you. It's not
right. It's just
but it goes back to one of those safe spaces. Like, look, why is there not a salon for people with any sort of ethnic hair out here? There's enough of us. Like, how do we make that happen? Just that one small safe space, right, would be amazing, let alone places to deal. Because I mean, you were a part of the thread too, how fucking obnoxious it is and painful to take your child in somewhere and have them be like, oh my God, we can't do their hair. Okay, well, who's the asshole here? Like me for walking into a salon to get a hair service, or you for working in a salon and not being able to provide it? Like, what's happening?
Right.
So, and going to your white friends to complain about, I mean, they probably get like all uppity and suggest you call the manager and shit. I've seen plenty of that. But how does that change that nobody in that salon knows how to do your child's hair? It doesn't.
It doesn't, and because it's a larger talk, because it's not just that salon. What needs to change is the standards to get your fucking license to do hair needs to include ethnic people. Period.
We exist.
You know what I'm saying? It's so funny that you were talking about your curly hair. I saw a thread on Twitter where this white girl, Ginger, she had mad curly hair. Right. Yeah. But all her life she had been straightening it because no one taught her how to take care of hair. And she literally said that she learned how to take care of hair from watching Black women take care of their hair. Oh. Right. Because they have a curly phenotype. Because if she went to the salon, all they do it is straight. She literally had her hair straight her whole life. And then you see this picture where it was like, yo, you were fucking up your hair the whole time because your hair is mad curly. You know what I'm saying? But like, it has to change on that higher level. You know what I'm saying, for them. But on the lower level, it's like, fuck those motherfuckers, do our own shit. You know what I'm saying?
Boom.
Yeah. Because me,
I
mean, I don't, you know, I'm bald now, so I don't cut my hair shit. But, you know, back in the day when I had locks or when I had, you know, hair things, I went to the barbershop. I go to a black barbershop. When I come into town, you tell me where the black barbershop is. I am not going in a place where there's only white men. I just don't. I'm not doing that shit. You know what I'm saying? Because the barbershop, and by extension, Black beauty salons are also safe spaces for Black people.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying? Like, and they also say something like the most segregated hour. I forgot the exact quote, how it goes, but it basically said the most segregated hour in the United States is like Sunday morning.
Oh, wow.
I mean, Black and white churches.
Right, you know yeah, that doesn't surprise me.
You know what I'm saying? So like, it goes back. We have these safe spaces, so we can also use them to do other things. So for instance, you know, I mentioned that when we started doing Supreme Design Publishing books, you know, bookstores were kind of on the downswing because of Amazon on the upswing. So what we did, we sold a lot of our books straight in barbershops, Black hair salons. Salons, you know,
I love that.
These are also places that, if you notice with health things, that they've also partnered with a lot of health things many times in terms of to get Black men to get checkups, to disseminate certain information and stuff.
Yeah, because that's where they find the community that they're trying to reach. Yeah,
exactly.
It matters.
Exactly, and so it's great because that means also that we literally have some spaces set up where we can already address these issues, you know, mental health issues. You know, we don't necessarily always have to have, you know, a rented building saying this is the community center, you know, and come do things. Like, go to where the people are. Where are Black people at? You know what I'm saying? Where are Black people at? And then make those places safe, and also make those places so that everybody can't walk up in there. Nobody is invited to the cookout. All right.
Right. Yeah.
Nobody, if you're not black, if you're not black or a person of color or indigenous, you're not invited to the cookout.
Right.
Right. That's just it.
Doing
it's
our
okay.
own thing over here.
Right. Now,
this time,
if I have another dinner or whatever, and I invite people, whatever. But when this black cookout, you're not invited. And nothing you do can get you invited.
Right.
That's the problem. Right. Everybody gets these passes, but there's literally places in terms of black safe spaces, whether they're black men and women together, or whether for black women, or whether for black men.
Right.
Nobody is invited there. This is like secret society shit. You know, you don't get to come up here, and it should be understandable because the reality is the reverse happens, but we don't look at it that way. Meaning that there are white spaces, right, where black bodies cannot enter.
Right.
You know, but people have nothing wrong with that. Like I can't go up into
it's just normal now.
Right. I can't go in a stockholders meeting for some white company and be like, yeah, okay, I'm just going to chill here.
No.
You know.
No, you're not allowed. You're not.
I'm not allowed in gated communities.
And
I'm not allowed. You know, all these places.
And it's not just those things. It's the access to gain the membership is where it starts. Do you know what I mean? It's like it's having the access, because they're not going to say like this is a stockholders meeting for only white people, but they are going to say this is a stockholders people who have this, and this, and those four things are and historically have been only accessible to white people. So that's your way of saying black people can't come here. Right. The same way, like back in the day, they'd be like, this is a homeowners association, but we redline people so black people can't buy houses. So we never have to worry about a black person being in our homeowners association. They didn't say the homeowners association is only for white people, but they did say only white people get to own homes. So, you know, that's the way they play it.
Yeah. It's like the same way for like, you know, the Constitution, all men are created equal. But like to vote, you'd have.
But you're 3/5 of a human being. So
right. You have to be a landowner too. You know what I'm saying?
Exactly.
Like, so it's all these other like sub requirements. But the front language makes it seem that it's very inclusive, but it's not inclusive on any level. But it's so subtle many times that you can't immediately point out it's like why this is racist. You know what I'm saying?
You have to know history. You have to know history and understand the context. Yeah, and that makes it difficult because they've done a lot to cover that part of it up, like a lot. And it's layered. And and the thing about it being layered is just that you always have to be open to changing and shifting. You know what I mean? I'm mixed and my children are even further mixed. I mean, you've met a couple of my children are straight up like white skinned blonde hair. They are white presenting people, right? And there are certain like groups that they have for black children. I'm not going to put my kids in there. And it's not even because they're not being raised by me. Do you know what I mean? They have black family, but it's like, and I understand that it's weird and maybe not even weird, but it's like, look, you just have to be sensitive. These black children, we know what we know as adults, and that's one thing. But these black children have been told that here is a safe space for kids that look like you, and this is what you guys are going to do. And if I bring my children into that space, it throws off what they know and it stops being what they told it would be. Do you understand what I mean? They were told this is a safe space for black kids, just like you. And do you know what I mean? And so I understand that my kids have black blood in them and they are mixed, but they don't present that way. And I don't want to confuse other black children that need to know that they're safe and understood no matter what direction they're looking in. I remember being a kid like that. It's like, I love my children, but I also just need to raise them understanding like there will be some things that are always accessible to you. And there will be some things that you should just step back from and allow other people to have because it will impact them differently than it impacts you. You have to be aware of that shit. And it's true for all of us. You know what I mean? Like, I have to pay attention to pronouns constantly because I'm really, really bad. I have to pay attention to my language. I'm sure if I go back and watch this, we're sitting here talking about mental health, and I'm sure I've called multiple things crazy because I use that word. Do you know what I mean? We all have things that we need to stay on our toes and pay attention to. It is not just race. That is just like a predominant thing for a lot of people in this country, and it's coming to a head right now. But the truth is, Like, we all have stuff we need to pay attention to. Nobody is asking anything exceptional out of any one group of people. It's just like, yo, this is yours to make sure you pay attention to and you're on top of. This is yours to pay attention to and make sure you stay on top of. Like, we all have to adjust, or we all should adjust. We don't have to do shit, but we all should adjust if we want to, you know, have the reputation of being a person with integrity that approaches and treats other people with as much respect as, you know, they can muster, and in return get that back. I'm all for shitting on people that don't deserve it. If you disrespect me, I don't have a problem disrespecting you back, but I don't lead with disrespect. I don't ever lead with, I can disagree with you and be like, nah, that's not myself. But I don't ever lead with disrespect. Once it's introduced, I have no problem flinging it around everywhere. Ultimately, I think it's considerate to just really try to be aware, and mental health is one of those things. And mental health is also one of those things that people can't always talk about. So it's like, lift the stigma about, like you said, reaching out and just checking in with people, being like, where's your head at today? Even if all you have to say is, I'm having such a fucking good day. It could not be better right now. Cool. Normalize saying, like, do you have the space to let me vent right now? Like, are you in a place right now where I can just like unload all? Me and my girlfriends are so good about that. Like, it's constantly, because we all always have something going on, but it's like, there are times that we are more available to each other and times that we are not. And it's important to be like, I want to be there for you, but I honestly am like going through so much right now. I don't know that I have the space to help you either. These kinds of conversations need to be normal. And almost expected, I think, in good, healthy relationships, whether they're friendships, whether they're work relationships, because you know if you're working at a job that is more stressful than other jobs. Do you know what I mean? Or if there's certain weights, you know, when nurses go to check into their shift at the hospital, I feel like it should be common practice. I'm not a nurse. I've never worked in a hospital, so I'm sorry if I'm being unreasonable, but I don't see what would be wrong with all the nurses starting their shift by being like, how are you feeling? Like, how was work for you yesterday? What are you thinking you need today? It's a very serious, stressful job. And when things are hardcore in a hospital, do you have time to sit and be like, ooh, that was a big deal. I really need to process this and take some time to think and see how I feel. Fuck no. You got to get up and take care of the next person. In elementary schools, fast food restaurants, especially because nobody's working at them because they don't pay enough. It's like the people who are still showing up to work, like 4 or 5 of them back there and just like 900 people in line. They're busting their ass. And they deserve just as much the opportunity to be like, man, work was hard today. Like, I didn't get a chance to breathe. It's just like cheeseburger after cheeseburger after cheeseburger. It's not minimal, and it's not, you know what I mean? It's not an unimportant part. Like, people need to be able to talk about that stuff with everyone. It just needs to be normal to accept that people feel things and that it fluctuates, and we need to be kind of fluid in certain situations, you know?
Right. And then also, it's just like the same way, like a physical ailment, right? So if I come into work and you see me breathing hard, I come into work, you see me sweating or my eyes dilated.
Check in. Yes.
They'll be like, yo, are you okay? You know what I'm saying? Yeah. And there's those same kind of cues also for mental health things. Yes. You know what I'm saying? A person who is talkative all of a sudden is not talking a lot.
Right.
A person literally seems like they're zoning out, like they're disassociating. You know what I'm saying? A person like looks like they can't stand still. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
All those types of things, you know, or you say something and they just can't process what you keep saying. So they're like missing time and stuff. Like all those things are cues to check in with the person mentally and emotionally.
Yes.
You know
and we notice them because even in a work environment, you know, you have your work friend that you'll go to and be like, have you seen so-and-so today? Do you know what I mean? Normalize going to so-and-so and just being like, yo, do you need something? Is there a way we can help?
Right.
Like, can I bring you a cup of water? Would you like a high five?
Right.
Like anything to just kind of initiate those conversations. No, it's important.
And that's the first step in mental health. The first step in mental health is to recognize certain symptoms.
Yes.
You know, with people, with other people and within ourselves. And then the next step, of course, is how then these symptoms, figuring out what these symptoms are, a larger issue of, and how to address it. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
In various different ways. But normalize that shit. Normalize checking in, mental health check-ins.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Oh, yeah.
You ain't heard from somebody in a minute. You know, just be like, yo, what's up? You know what I'm saying? And it doesn't have to be lengthy. It don't have to be no essay or anything.
No,
just people checking in sometimes can mean the world.
Oh, right. Yeah. Just a quick hello, even. It's so much. The world is crazy and people need people.
Right.
And I think in a lot of ways, and that is part of, look, I'm a super touchy person, and I have had to spend since basically the end of February 2020 apologizing to multiple, because I will go out in public and I will see you and I will run up and squeeze you so tight. I am like a touchy person. I've literally been hugging people and been like, I'm so sorry, I know it's a pandemic, but it's just like, it's autopilot for me to just like grab people. But like touch is important, and touch is it's just like such a special and important way to connect with people, even if it's just like a high five or a rub on the shoulder. And that is something that like, it's so far removed. And in a lot of instances, I think it's going to still kind of be a while till it's a normal part of our life, our social life, to just like see people and hug and shake hands and be physical and friendly like that again. So communication, just like being able to shoot a text message, shoot an email, a Zoom meeting that people can check into, you know what I mean, makes a difference. It is a way to stay connected to people. Because these are trying times, and not everybody is Dave Chappelle or Naomi, I cannot remember her last name, and they don't have the money to be like, check it out, I'm just gonna go take care of myself, you guys are on your own. Not there's most of us do not have access like that, so we need each other.
Right.
Each other.
Which is the byproduct, one of the byproducts of this quarantine and everything, in terms of we have, some people have more time to link with each other. You know, and we realize that things aren't going back to pre-COVID. You know what I'm saying? It's not going back there. So it's important for us
good and bad. Yeah.
Right. It's important for us to brainstorm and keep innovating ways of how we're going to exist post-COVID.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Right. That's pretty much where we are now. And the mental health part is going to be big, because we're not dealing just with individual mental health issues. We're dealing with generational trauma. We're dealing with the trauma of racism. We're dealing with the trauma of...
it is racism. Like, please understand that it is racism. Every time you throw a fit about a Black woman wearing a bonnet, or a Black woman saying her mental health is more important, it's like, that's racism. That's a problem. You know what I mean? Brooke Shields stepped back from a bunch of shit too when she was going through a hard time, and everybody praised how brave she was for being about. It was Brooke Shields, and no disrespect to Brooke Shields, because I actually like her. I think what the fuck ever. But the point is, it is perception. Do you know what I mean? When a white woman is like, I can't do this because I need to take care of myself. It's like, gosh, so brave and such ahead of the game, and and then a Black woman does the same thing, and it's like, why aren't you working?
Yeah, it's the same thing with Black men. I've noticed, unfortunately, a discourse happening where, I've seen several of my peers mention about the mental health of Black men and whatever. And the feedback right away is just like, whatever. You know what I'm saying? Like, not taking it seriously. It's like, Black men are telling you, like, we getting some mental issues, and for that not to be acknowledged, it's hard, because it takes
how much pressure is on Black men. Like, because it's like, look, and I'm literally imagining, obviously, because I'm not a Black man, but it's like, as a Black man, not only are you just kind of by default and by social and cultural structuring expected to protect the women and the children about you, right? But you're also expected to like not breathe funny or move too fast or walk in the wrong direction and get murdered.
Right.
So it's like, if Black men aren't dealing with mental health issues, who the fuck in this country is, for real? Because it's like, there are just unfair expectations put on men, period, which is where toxic masculinity comes from. Masculinity is not toxic, but there is a segment of masculinity that very much is. But that toxic masculinity came from putting everything on men. There's a quote, and I say it all the time, and I can never fucking remember who said it originally, so I'm so sorry. But in one of my sociology classes, I remember it being quoted, that someone had once said, in war, we always speak of the innocent women and children as if there's no such thing as an innocent man. And that's some real shit. Like, it has stuck with me I was pregnant with Ezekiel, so a solid 14 years now. It's like, it really is true. You always hear the innocent women and children, the innocent women and children. Men are innocent too. Why do we assume that just because they have grown into men, that somehow it's just natural for them to protect everybody around them, never falter, never succumb to fear, never need help? Do you know what I mean? It's nonsense. And if that kind of pressure is not put on the Black man, who's feeling that kind of pressure? Because it's like, but because not only are you expected to do all that, it's like there's all this gatekeeping, right? Like if a Black man wants to be very successful and have the money to take care of his family and not have to worry about those things, it's like you got sports and you got rap music, or you got like struggling your ass to compete with all of these people through college. And I mean like white people, right? Like white people whose parents can like make huge deposits to get them into these universities. Do you know what I mean? There's just no way. There's so many odds stacked against, while also all these expectations, right? How is there not mental health issues? It needs to be addressed. It's crazy.
Right.
Yeah. And if you can't support Black people, then just shut the fuck up about them. It really is one of those, like, please throw your support behind the necessary things, or just don't say nothing. It's easy.
Yeah.
It's not a big deal.
But everybody's an expert at everything.
Always.
Always. I think we did it. I think we did it again, Ma. I think we nailed it down. And episode 6, episode 7 is coming.
Yep.
Episode 7 is coming. 2 weeks. And
well, not 2 weeks from today because I messed up. So so the 16th. We'll be back June 16th.
Right. And the same bad time, same bad channel as usual.
Word.
Thank y'all for rocking with us. We really appreciate it. Word up.
Find this. All right, everybody be well. We'll catch you in 2 weeks.
Peace.